You mean I gotta wait for volume 2? Oh no, I have it right here.
2 hours later.
What? You mean I gotta wait for volume 3? Damn it, didn't work that time. What's going on, folks? Zach from Uchuu Shelf here. Hope you guys are doing good and reading lots of manga. Today, we are going to be talking about my newest manga obsession, Naoki Urasawa, the master of manga himself, his new work, Asadora. But before we get started, if you're new here, welcome to Uchuu Shelf. My name is Zach, and I've got a couple of buttons that you can smash. I'm going to put them right here. Yeah, there we go. So if you see any buttons that look like this, hit those, and you're going to you're guaranteed to have a good time.
Disclaimer, good time not guaranteed.
But without further ado, let's get into my first impressions of Naoki Urasawa's Asadora. Asadora is a story that is told across different time periods. The first gorgeous color pages of Asadora depict Tokyo completely on fire, with people fleeing for their lives from a giant horned monster that is lurking in the flames, posing the question of not only what will happen to the National Stadium, but to the 2020 Tokyo Olympics themselves. We then jump back 61 years to a young girl named Asa, a precocious young girl who is braving the likes of a typhoon in hopes of finding a doctor for her mother who has just gone into labor. As Asa rushes about, she notices a burglar rushing into a house, taking advantage of the situation, and decides to start calling for help. But when the burglar runs away, Asa, being the tough young girl she is, decides to just chase after him, only to be cornered and kidnapped by the burglar. Now, the burglar mistakes Asa for the daughter of one of the doctors in the town and assumes that he can get a bit of money out of a ransom for her. But when the two of them keep talking, Asa reveals that she is one of 12 siblings and most likely will not even be missed if she disappears. And as the two continue talking, it becomes clear to Asa that the burglar, a man named Kasuga, isn't really a bad dude. He's just kind of really down on his luck. As their conversation progresses, Kasuga reveals that he got blamed for stealing money and lost his job, got deeply into gambling, and isn't able to find any work even as a pilot despite his World War II service. Now, as the storm rages on, the two of them are forced to hide in a shipping container, and when they emerge from the shipping container later on, they find themselves amidst the wreckage of a destroyed port of Nagoya. Asa's first instinct upon exiting that shipping container is to go and find her house and make sure her family is okay, but Kasuga tells her that there's really nothing she can do, that she should stick with him. Asa then reminds her that he was once a glorious hero of the skies. And this reminder seems to spark something inside Kasuga to go and find an airplane by any means necessary. On his way to a nearby airfield, Kasuga drops Asa off at a nearby restaurant where she begs the proprietor to help make as many rice balls as humanly possible so that she can deliver food to everybody stranded in the wreckage. Kasuga eventually returns with a plane, and the two of them begin flying over Nagoya and dropping down parcels of food for everybody stuck on their roofs. But as they fly over the port, Kasuga and Asa take in the sheer scale of the typhoon's destruction, and notice something strange in the wreckage, something neither of them expected to see. Speaking truthfully, I am completely heartbroken that this series is on hiatus in Japan because I am completely enamored by it, and I can only hope to whatever gods may be out there that by the time the English releases catch up that it comes back. And while I haven't read a whole lot of Naoki Urasawa's manga, a crime of which, by the way, I am currently rectifying, it's impossible to deny that Urasawa's manga comes pre-packaged with an undeniable charm. And quite frankly, Asadora is as charming as it is intriguing. Now, I have admittedly only read the first omnibus of 20th Century Boys, but the way that Asadora grips you, hooks you, and pulls you on in is nearly the exact same. Urasawa is an absolute master of giving you absolutely everything you could possibly want and still leave you wanting more. And this was one of those manga that was really difficult to put down. I mean, I had a whole bunch of responsibilities to do the afternoon I read this, but I literally picked it up, opened it up, and could not put it down until I finished it. I was just so immediately enthralled and intrigued by the characters and the world, and especially the mystery reveal at the end of the first volume. I really enjoy the fact that this story, much like a typhoon, takes you from one point and blows you all the way to the end as fast as humanly possible. The fact that there was so much going on in this manga to keep you intrigued, and yet leaving you asking more questions was just absolutely masterfully written. There's also a side story about a young man named Sho who Asa knows from their community who is running and practicing to compete in the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. His family is all rallying behind him, they're giving him all this immense pressure and making him kind of work for it, even though you can tell he kind of really doesn't want to, but all of them have been hindered by the war and can't compete themselves, so they're resting all of their hopes into Sho. And there's kind of a way that Urasawa portrays coincidences as a method of connectivity and progressing a story that I found interesting. For example, there's a part in the story where Kasuga is flying his plane above, but he's also bleeding and drops of blood start falling from the plane, and a drop of blood hits Sho in the face. And instead of anyone going, why is there blood raining from the sky? All his family begin rallying around him and propping him up and saying, oh, this is a divine sign from God. You were meant to run in the Olympics, which only adds to the immense burden of having your family pressure you into running into the Olympics, but that's besides the point. And the other thing I really loved about this manga was the way it explored the theme of community. The fact that everybody knows the name of the doctor who makes house calls, everybody knows each other in town, and that in a disaster, everybody bands together to help each other. For example, when Asa asks the restaurant owner to help make make all these rice balls, she begins to rally the troops, so to speak, and there's all these just middle-aged housewives helping out to make all these rice balls. Like, nobody even questions it, it's just something you do intrinsically for your community. Now, one thing I am interested to find out about Asadora is what role the Olympics play in this, because we have this sort of thing at the beginning with the monster attacking the 2020 Olympics. There's all this fuss around the 1964 Olympics, so I don't know what the story is here, and I know it's kind of, I guess, now alternate Earth history because there was no 2020 Olympics, but I am kind of intrigued to see where that goes. Maybe as a cautionary warning of canceling the Olympics, hint hint. And as with everything Urasawa puts out, the art in this manga was absolutely top-notch. From the way that each character is flawlessly brought to life to the way that he portrays disasters from beginning, middle, and end, every panel just feels vibrant and alive. But amongst it all, the one character, the main focus of this manga that is really what makes it so good is the character Asa. The way Asa has kind of been forced to grow up and fend for herself as a means of standing out in her absolutely enormous family comes across in both her words and her actions. And it's just intriguing and enthralling to watch her character hold on to this resilience, even as a child going through a natural disaster and faced with the possibility of losing her entire family to this natural disaster, is just a testament to Urasawa's ability to write really engaging and realistic characters. And even with the huge reveal at the end of the first volume in those last 2 pages, what I'm really looking forward to see in future volumes is how that shapes Asa's character going forward. Speaking of which, I'm going to speak from experience here. If you are going to pick up Asadora Volume 1, I urge you to also pick up Volume 2, because the second you finish Volume 1, you're going to wish you had that to read next. Asadora by Naoki Urasawa is available from Viz Media in print at any book and comic shop or at any online retailer. And if you have picked up Asadora, you've already read it, let me know your thoughts in the comments below or either on Twitter or Instagram at Uchuu Shelf. And as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Your support means a heck of a lot to me. It gives me the motivation to make you more manga-related content like this video today. But until next time, folks, happy reading.
Outro. This is an outro. Yeah. You're free to go now. Seriously, leave. I mean, why are you sitting here, man? Get out of here, man. Go. Come on. Leave. Goodbye.